I'm Kiera Morgan. Thanks for joining me on this episode of Coffee with Kiera, sponsored by The Human Being in Newport and Lincoln City. And today I am joined by General Manager for the Port of Newport, Paula Miranda. Hi, Paula.
Well, hello.
Thanks so much for joining me here today. It's been a while, a couple of years. We've had the pandemic and everything, and we want an opportunity to kind of get folks caught up with all the great things that have been going on here at the Port of Newport. So first of all, tell us a little bit about you and the port and what you do.
Okay. Well, I have been with the Port of Newport now for 3 years. Time flies. And I came here from the Port of Columbia County, and before that I worked with the Port of Portland. So I've been with the port industry now for 20 years. I basically try to work with as a team here. We have two directors and a lot of harbor masters, terminal managers, and a whole bunch of folks that work with us and running the rest of the staff. We usually have about 25 employees back and forth. It's an industry that we sometimes have a hard time keeping folks because we have a large operational side of it. And we have several properties that the port manages. And then again, besides being a landlord port, we also have operations. The fishing docks here in the north side of the bay, in which we run. It's mostly for the fishermen operations, but we also obviously have spaces can accommodate tugs and other businesses for the maritime sector as well, as long as it fits within the space we have. We have Port Dock 1, Port Dock 3, Port Dock 5, and Port Dock 7. Those are the commercial docks. And then on the other side, we operate the Newport Marina and the RV park at South Beach, and we also have on the north side of the bay the international terminal, and those are typically our operational services. And then besides that, we have several tenants that we work with, from Rogue on the South Beach side to Oregon State University Hatfield, a portion of the aquarium, and then we also on this side have England Marina and some other smaller tenants. So as you can see, we pretty much work in all places around the bay with several different folks, and that pretty much does it.
And Paula,
and we have Noah too. I forgot about Noah. How could I forget
That's
about
right.
Noah? Of course, then we have Noah, which we actually have one of our employees that runs all the operations within that facility, keeping it running. So.
And speaking of keeping it running, the port's been working really hard to make sure that all those docks that you mentioned are kept up and are accessible. Can you talk a little bit about some of the new things that have happened with some of the docks?
Sure. You know, if you work with ports, especially coastal ports, you realize that most of them, when they build the docks, don't usually have much money left for maintenance, and it becomes a problem. It has been a problem for this port for many years. One thing we're trying to do here is put some money aside every year to do some inspections and at least have an idea of the conditions of our docks. In our strategic plan, we do have a list of improvements that we foresee coming, but oftentimes we end up with another problem that it was not, we couldn't see it, well, at least was not on the list. And that's part of having a good plan and money set aside for projects that, or at least to maintain the docks, look at it 5 years, 10 years, and eventually how you're going to replace that. So we're starting to go that route. Of course, it's going to take a few years for us to, put those monies aside. But meanwhile, we're really trying to do a lot of improvements. A few things that we're working right now is on the north side, we have been working with the users in replacing the pedestals and going in bringing more power to everyone. Because the vessels are changing and we haven't, so it becomes real difficult when folks need more power and we just don't have that accessibility. So we are working right now in providing the 30 and 50 watts of energy. So if people need more, we will have something available on site that we can accommodate. Well, one of the things we'll be doing too is looking into assign the mortgages. We're actually hiring an orphanager here. Actually, we should post something out here in the next couple weeks, and that will help us maintain a better accessibility to the docks. So when people come and go, they know how that's working, but also assign to the folks that call this their port. So when we have visitors, they have to contact us ahead, because there's been a lot of problems with folks coming, taking spaces for the people that pay annual mortgages or annual, semi-annual mortgages, and with that it becomes very problematic. And the power portion also will be easier to maintain and figure out who needs what. So that's something we're doing. Another thing we're doing right now is preparing to do a plan for replacing Port Dock 7. We have obtained a couple grants, one with Business Oregon and one with the LCD, Department of Land and Conservation. That was a technical grant. We're trying to see if we could get a federal grant, but it's becoming harder and harder to get that. So we expect that plan will cost around $300,000. So the port most likely will have to pull $200,000 from the general funds and just use it for. We're already sort of planning on that anyway, but we're hopeful that we would have got more money. But so once we get the plan going, which we expect that will take 1.5 to 2 years, then we gotta get real serious about trying to find the actual funds for construction, which right now we have an estimate of close to $20 million. It's going to be very difficult to get those funds because our access to federal funds for that much, it's not readily available right now. We have been working with the Maritime Administration for quite a while to allow us to try and for other docks that is just not plain cargo, because they typically have cargo funds available, but not so much for other types of docks. So we'll see how we can work through that. I've been working with the Maritime Administration as well as with our legislators for quite a while to consider seafood some sort of cargo, you know what I mean? And that's a hard one because with the EDA, the most we could possibly get is maybe $3 million. USDA often offer loans, but not so much grants for that type of stuff. And then Connect Oregon is another option. So we're hoping to combine Connect Oregon with some federal opportunities and see if we can make that happen, because quite frankly, if we don't replace this dock in the next 5 years, I think we're going to have to restrict quite a bit and the use. Actually, right now we already have. We recently have done an inspection, and with that inspection, we were told to really restrict the size of vessels that we can receive that. So we are doing that dock in combination also with we're working right now as we speak with the Army Corps of Engineers. They have worked with us on creating a better access to our commercial docks, as to dredging a little bit deeper and further into the docks. They typically don't get those funds from your normal Army Corps funds that it's assigned every year. It's a different kind of a special project, they call it Section 107, that we're able to tap in, and they have agreed to initially do a report that costs about $100,000, and they did that for free. That was the report to see if they would do the other report. So it's just the government for you. Yeah. So we did the initial report, and they looked at it and did my understanding, some economic impact and a whole bunch of other things to see if this made sense to do a feasibility study. And it apparently became like, yes, this is a good candidate for it. So they went ahead and started in that process. This feasibility study, we're looking into anywhere from $700,000 to $950,000, where they put in 50% and the port is putting 50%. So we're in the middle of it right now. We expect this to last at least maybe another year. If they agree that this is it's something that we should move forward, they're looking at environmental, they're looking at infrastructure, they're looking at a whole bunch of things, economic impact, a lot of things really. Then they would go ahead and start dredging, and they would charge the port only 10% of the project, which is it's pretty good, quite frankly. Not only that, but they would give the port time to pay for that 10%. And then moving forward, they would be maintaining that just like they maintain the channel. So we're really having our fingers crossed that this is something that could happen, because not only would help us create a better access to all of our docks, which would really make an impact on how we rebuild Port Dock 7, because ultimately what we want to do with Port Dock 7 is also have a space to accommodate some of the larger fishing vessels, so we can have a better better operations, let's say, at the international terminal, because as we're looking for cargo to come to the terminal, and which we are hoping to have a trial actually this summer. We're working on with a couple of customers. One of them may actually start a trial on bringing moving some logs out of the terminal. And what we're doing is, especially in busy time for the fishermen, if we have a vessel coming in for 2-3 days, we would move some of the fishing vessels to Port Dock 7 at that point, and then as they leave, then they can go back. But at least we have a place to do that, which right now we don't. So it makes it a little bit more tricky, but of course our intention is never to right now we have the fishermen using our terminal, and we'll continue working with them on that. We continue working as partners. As a matter of fact, with this project, we're looking into this trial. We have been keeping the communications open with the fishermen and longshore, and they understand what we're trying to do, and so there's really good open communications right now.
And another thing that the Port of Newport has always been a big supporter of the community, including the fishermen's wives. Mm-hmm. And the port is a supporter of an upcoming fundraiser, the Seafood Cook-Off. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, so we're actually pretty excited about this event, especially after coming out of COVID for 3 years. The community kind of need to get out and do things, and it's going to be an outdoor event. So, I had this gentleman, Mr. Jim Myers, approaching me. He was very excited about getting a new event going in Newport. Apparently, he had worked on something similar in the past, which I heard was very successful. And he had all these good ideas, and so I thought, why not? I think this is time to bring folks out and also get a chance for people to see what we do out here, and of course the port is a nonprofit. I mean, we don't intend to do anything, but we want to help the community, and so we worked that out to help the fishermen's wives as well as food pantry. So we are basically everything that comes out of that in terms of sales, and I think most of we have a lot of sponsors. Actually, so far we're doing quite well with sponsors, and most of those funds will pay for itself. Will pay the cost of putting out the event, and then most of the sales tickets then will go towards the Fishermen's Wives and the Food Pantry. The port itself is a sponsor. We're actually putting some money into that as well to help the cause. So we're very excited. It should be a pretty delicious event, and I'm looking forward to it myself.
So it has the support of a lot of the different fishing commissions, so like the crab commission, right. Salmon, there's going to be tuna, shrimp, a wide variety of showcasing the different fisheries that we have that work out of the Port of Newport.
That's correct, and all of those folks are sponsors as well to the event, and yeah, so that way it will give folks a whole variety when they come to visit. If they don't like shrimp, hey, go for salmon. If you don't like salmon, go for crab. So, and if you like them all, you'll be a happy person because you're gonna have them all. So pretty much most of the fisheries that it's supported here by this area will be here. So.
And tickets are available, I believe, online. Is that right?
Tickets are available on the Fishermen's Wives website, but we do have a link into our website as well. So you can go to the Port of Newport website if it's easier, and very easily linked right into it.
All right. Well, Paula, thank you so much for these incredible updates. So much is going on.
We could be here all day.
Yeah, and like I said, we're a bit behind because, the pandemic, we weren't able to get together like we normally would. So it's great catching up. Thank you so much for joining us on Coffee with Kiera. We are sponsored by The Human Being in Newport at 6th Street and Highway 101, and in Lincoln City at the north end of the highway on the west side near TLC Credit Union. For Oregon Coast Breaking News, I'm Kiera Morgan.